Baby Yodel is put in danger again this week. Will he make it out? Let's find out on the latest episode of The Mandalorian. Hey guys, welcome back. Oh my gosh, I got a lot of stuff this week. So I finally got my baby Yodel. Hey, from Etsy, because Disney can't do anything right except for The Mandalorian. And we got another sort of Baby Yoda-centric episode. Maybe not quite as much screen time, but I categorize this one as the season side quest episode. That's what this was for me. And let's start off by thanking our sponsors, as always, Stardust. Thank you so much to Stardust, guys. We are on that app making exclusive reaction videos, posting comments. If you guys would download the app to your phones, it's completely free, no reason not to. And it supports the Angry Joe Show. If you follow us at AngryJoe Show, for every follower we get $1. That's how you can directly contribute to the Angry Joe Show, our angry reviews, and of course, our Mandalorian reviews. So let's get to it. I gotta say right away, I think that this one was the weakest episode. We start off good. Start off with a badass Yoda. You've grown.
Yeah, you've changed, OJ. You've changed quite a bit.
Oh my God!
Whatever I've been eating, you know.
So obvious. So OtherJoe is out of town this week.
We kicked him off the show.
Oh, we kicked him off the show because
he said bad things about the Cowboys. So we had to go.
Yeah.
And honestly, you know, a thicker Yoda is a good Yoda.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
thick boy Yoda. So this is what it'll probably look like when he grows up. Which I'm very interested to see how long we're going to stick with Baby Yoda on the show, and if we see him through adolescence, if we see him as he grows up, and the Mandalorian grows old. Because I think a dynamic is really forming in the show now between sort of father and son. The Mandalorian, honestly, at this point, has become a huge softie. I'm not really sure if I like this amount of softness already, so I hope they toughen him up, make a little bit more dangerous feeling, because I like the scum and villainy dangerous feeling of a Han Solo, early Han Solo, right? But let's get back on track. So the episode starts real strong. We got a space battle, and I was hoping to see something like this in the television series. We do. Some fighter bounty hunter has the Mandalorian ship in his sights, very evocative of the Darth Vader lock-on targeting system. He's hitting that Mandalorian
a lot, over and over and over and over.
And what happens?
It's the best kind of armor, the plot armor.
Yeah.
His whole ship's made out of plot armor.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a plot armor there, because he's hitting him like 20 times, and then the Mandalorian pulls a Top Gun,
Pulls E-brake.
or a hot shot.
Hot shots. Yes, hot shots is so good. Yeah.
Lets the guy go right by him, gets him in his sights, hits him twice.
One time.
One
shot,
time?
one kill.
No.
It was one time.
Okay, that's a little too blatant.
Maybe it been
Maybe
too
it did like a dual laser, but it
Right.
was one shot. Yeah.
So
One
where
shot,
the-
one kill. He's good.
Where the fuck was that guy's shields?
He stole his line. You have to kill him with one shot.
All
He's like,
right.
That's my line.
He did say, I can bring you in cold, or or hot, or I can bring you in cold. And he's like, what? Where'd you hear that from? That's
my line.
So I liked it. It was a big trope, but you know what? It was, again, executed really well.
Yes.
I like that cockpit view. I just love the Star Wars universe when they are in their X-Wings. Disney, I would love, I don't know if you're watching, I know you're not, but we got to send somebody who has a father in the Disney executives or Disney Plus, send this to them, because what I would love to see is like a Rogue Squadron series or something as the actual pilots in X-Wings. I just love this cockpit view and taking on missions and Star Destroyers. That would be awesome. So the beginning of the episode, very, very strong. long, even though, this guy's shooting
It's a little
Mandalorian
cheesy.
20 times.
Yeah.
Mandalorian gets one shot. He explodes in great flame. But he heads towards another planet, Mos Eisley, the city of Mos Eisley on Tatooine. I'm like, oh, are we kidding?
Hey, member this?
Hey, no, I like it. This is the Star Wars universe.
I know.
Okay,
but-
so I was like, are we getting Obi-Wan? Are we going to see some, what are we seeing here? Oh, no, Obi-Wan's
is long,
already passed.
poofed.
I don't know why I said that.
Could be a ghost.
Well, instead, the
could
ghost
be a
started
ghost.
hanging out
Ghost
on. No.
Obi-Wan.
But maybe we'll get the cantina. Maybe we'll see some little Easter eggs, and we do see an Easter egg. In fact, an Easter egg I didn't expect.
Oh, like the being in the actual cantina?
No, the cube.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
As soon as we were watching the scene, I was like, wait a minute, is that a companion cube?
Companion cube.
I was like, what the hell? So a lot of references in The Mandalorian. I think The Mandalorian is paying homage to John, let me get this right because a lot of people were mad at me, Favreau.
Close.
Favreau?
I don't think
Favreau.
anyone truly knows.
I don't know. And I think he's paying homage to a lot of his favorite films, Top Gun, Rocketeer, Rocky, Hot Shots, lots of, so Seven Samurai, Magnificent Seven, and he does a little bit of that in this episode. Unfortunately, once we get into that cantina, great practical effects, too, from the creatures in the cantina, and on a TV budget. Now, granted, this budget is much larger
Probably
than
massive,
other
yeah.
television shows, but still, it was good to see that it's not all CGI. He lands at the city. His ship is all banged up.
Fuel leak,
and he meets this sort of older home on the range. I don't know what to call her. She's a mechanic, outer rim mechanic, rough and tough, and just has some old prequel era droids that help her out and repair stuff. And, he sort of, pays her to take care of his ship. She ends up taking care of Baby Yodel, who, she's like, you can't keep leaving you can't
what's wrong with you? You
She was
abandoned
like,
a child.
You suck.
And I've been saying that. I've been saying that throughout the whole series, that all he does is just walk off. So it's good that somebody who has a little more compassion or who might have a motherly instinct to her is like, you can't be doing this, but I am going to charge him extra.
Maybe he's just giving Baby Yoda respect because they said he was like 50 years old.
Yeah,
He's pretty much his dad.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously the species age differently. But anyway, while he leaves her behind and she finds a little cute Baby Yoda, we get the little guy cooing and giggling and stuff, which is always adorable. We meet a bounty hunter character, and this is where we take an immediate turn. Toro something or the other. Don't
Toro.
care.
Don't care, yeah.
He just looks completely out of place. This guy, he looks like he's from, I don't know, Hackers with Angelina Jolie.
Yep.
He's got little earrings on it, like 90s. I'm like, oh my God, what happened with the costume design here? What was the director on this one? He just felt out of place, very clean-cut looking.
Yep.
You could have just kept his goggles and his face mask on because he looked completely out of place. And I could buy that maybe, he's got a debonair, pretty boy look to him, young, wants to get into the guild. But his acting is what I had a problem with. It's very stiff, very... I didn't really buy the fact that, he is who he says he is.
New to acting and new to bounty hunting.
New to bounty hunting.
I don't know if this guy was owed a favor by somebody on the set, but he just felt out of place. And I was like, you know what? I'm really enjoying The Mandalorian, so I'm just going to roll with it, right?
Yep.
And as we journey throughout, I'm like, no, it's not working. But these guys, what happens?
So they go out. He wants to get into the guild. He has this big new score. There's a mercenary out and an old assassin.
Yep.
That used to work for the Hutts. Used to work for all of these like really famous bad guys in the Star Wars universe. And she's out there before she escapes. Let's go capture her. You the Mandalorian. You get to keep all the money, but I want the fame.
Side mission.
And so we go on a side mission. But the problem with something like this is this is a trope, right? We've done it 100 times in different Western things, and that's fine. That's totally fine. This is a 35-minute episode.
Yeah.
We've already spent 8-10 minutes already up to this point. So they need to start and resolve the story in 20 minutes, which is one of the reasons I think his acting doesn't feel right, because they're rushing through these parts. I have no emotional attachment to him. I actually actively didn't like him.
I disliked him.
Did not like the assassin that we meet later on. I don't care about anyone in the story, and it's because we don't have a lot of time with them. So you just don't care as much. Yeah, the mechanic lady was real nice, and I think that's the actress from, I don't know if you guys watched Stranger with Candy. She's been in a bunch of comedy stuff.
No.
Yeah.
No, you're getting her mixed up.
No, that's not her?
I don't know.
I don't know. Here, I haven't seen that movie.
Oh, there was also a really weird MTV series that she was on, but whatever. So, like, that was the only character that we got a lot of exposure to, so it's like, okay, that makes sense. But everyone else in the episode is just like, throw this away. It's a short, abbreviated story, and I really am worried, like, this is under 30 minutes. Like, they try to finish the story in under 30 minutes.
No, it's more 20 minutes. You get the recap, you got the credits, which are always super long.
I agree with what you said, saying it was like a side quest. They felt like side NPCs. Yeah. They were literally like the people who go, I've got a quest for you. And he's like, all right, I'm going to go do it.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 done.
And while as the last episode we had some of these same sort of criticisms, we loved it. We don't mind that it's a kind of a trope, and we've seen it 100 times because it was so well executed and it was given more time to develop. But our criticisms were that it was kind of short.
Yeah, it's getting
this
shorter.
one's even shorter with an even less interesting trope with some actors that are a little questionable. This Toro guy. Sure, they go out and it's like, what's the point? Why are we on this planet? Why did we go here? This is what we would call filler.
Yep.
But it wasn't bad.
No,
I
it wasn't
know
bad.
we're crapping on it here, but I feel that we're pointing out the criticisms because it's one of the weaker episodes. His acting's a little weak. Now, some of you could say, well, if people are going to rush to The Mandalorian's defense with how great it has been, right?
Yeah,
Here's what I'm anticipating. Well, his acting was poor because he was faking the whole time. It is revealed that he's not really that incompetent. Maybe he's more opportunistic. Well, I was trying to give him more of a benefit of the doubt.
No,
You're thinking, no, he's still incompetent.
He was just incompetent.
He just did the ultimate bad guy thing, which is, I'm going to shoot my bounty who just told me how to make more money.
Sort of. She said he might be that. And he's like, oh, cool, I'm going to turn down this for sure thing for something like, I'm going to go take on this.
He could do them both.
He could have done them
He's
both.
an
That's what I was
idiot.
thinking. He left the body there.
Yeah. And there was Amy Sedaris. I just looked it up.
Really?
Yeah, it is Amy Sedaris,
Okay,
yeah.
that's funny. All right, well, good. Thank you for looking that up. But here's the thing, so they go on this little bounty. The guild apparently isn't operating anymore on Mos Eisley, and this guy comes out of nowhere. He's sitting in motherfucking Han Solo's chair, and I was like, you know what? You
better be good.
You better live up to this shit. And he's a pretender. Now, yes, granted, that's the point of his character, I think. He's even wearing kind of like blue, and sort of mirroring Han's, black and brown and red. Trying to be his own thing. Solo, Toro,
Kind of. 4-letter word.
Yes.
But this is somebody who wants to be a bounty hunter, who wants to get into this world, and he wants to impress the guild, and he's just a dumbass. And I know he's supposed to be a dumbass on purpose, but he was just annoying.
The risk with writing a character that you're not supposed to like is if you're really good at your job, you'll be like, people won't like the character, and they won't like watching them, and they won't like, it's like, all right, this idiot's in the scene again, and he's opening his stupid mouth, and stupid things are falling.
Right, I just think that maybe it's the casting director's fault in that he looks so out of place, or maybe he did just such a good job at making me hate him that I hated him, and I wanted him to die, and I was like, please don't let this be a reoccurring rival character for our Mando. And thankfully, no. Because after they capture this assassin who they go out into the dunes, which, by the way, beautiful
really
cinematography. I love just seeing them ride these things, and it makes you be like, man, I wish I was living in the Star Wars universe. Those crazies that wanted to live in Avatar? No, it's Star Wars.
A lot of direct comparisons to like horses riding through dunes and stuff. Really good cinematography.
You got the dual suns of Tatooine scene. And so eventually they find her. She sets up a little trap for them. A previous bounty hunter tried to collect on her. By the way, they used the fob again.
Oh, and speaking of the Tuskens, seeing them
Oh,
do
that's
sign
right,
language,
Tusken Raiders,
dude,
yeah.
the fact that they communicate through sign language is
I never
so
knew
great.
that. I never knew that. You know, I thought they would just that, right? And I was like, oh my God, you're looking at Tusken Raiders through the binoculars. I know exactly what's going to happen here. They're going to he's going to jump up and go, or they're going to be right next to him. And guess what?
I love how they were like, just like, sup.
They were right. Right, but they weren't aggressive this time, as where I guess Luke must have been in the wrong
They
territory.
also weren't walking single file.
Right.
So.
And here they
were
said,
chill.
you know, they're all over here. It's like, no, we're all over their territory.
side, yeah.
This is their planet and their area. So they make a trade. He gives them his new expensive goggles, and he lets them go. So they don't have to fight Tusken Raiders. We don't have to do the Luke thing there. So they find her. She sets a trap. A previous bounty hunter tried to collect. She killed him. And then it's Toro and Mando behind the dune going over. See what the hell is this? Because he's being dragged by his mount. And she's in a sniping position, and thank God Mando has that Beskar armor, because and appropriately it's deflecting the shots.
Yeah.
It's doing its job, where you never
I think
see
he
armor
gets hit
do its
3
job.
times, and he
Right.
just gets right back
Four
up.
times, yeah.
I mean, other than like a direct stab through with a lightsaber, or for something really large that's going to crush you under it, like it's going to deflect most things.
Right, which is why she needs to probably do a better job of aiming and looking for a weak point, because I think there are still some weak points in the Mandalorian's armor that you can get at. But whatever, for story purposes, he deflects all the shot, and Toro's like, well, I'm glad it was you that went out there. I don't have Beskar armor. And it's like, all right, so we just got to wait her out. She's got higher ground. She's in a better position. And eventually they come up with a plan to distract her. They're just going to charge her with their swoops.
Flare guns.
And those swoops reminded me a little bit of Shadows of the Empire. You remember that video game? That's kind of cool. We get these little different designs.
The stripped down swoops looking things. Yeah.
And also, obviously, the speeders from Return of the Jedi. But anyway, they charge her while firing off flares to blind her. And it's a clever plan that would work, but of course Toro fucks it up and puts a flare right in front of Mando's, like, God damn it, and it lights the whole area up so she could see him better, and destroys Mando's vehicle, but a big enough distraction that Toro can come up behind her.
But not before she gets a direct shot at close range in the chest again.
Yeah.
At least the thickest part of his
Yeah.
armor, so they did that at least.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if his armor is permanently scarred or damaged from this. We'll probably see that in the next episode, whether he has to go and melt more Beskar or something.
A little flex tape.
Yeah.
Fix everything.
Well, it's it actually is not supposed to dent. So I'm going into some real nerd Star Wars fandom here. Mandalorian, the Jango Fett and the Boba Fett armor is not made of Beskar. It's basically pretender Mandalorian armor, and that's why there's this dent right here.
Maybe it's like 50-50. They didn't have enough, so they like mixed it to make it like hybrid.
No,
or
his
something.
armor is made
Melted
of
down some aluminum cans.
Yeah,
Just like,
aluminum
I
Beskar.
think it was Durasteel. I forget the
Yeah.
exact one, but it's not actually Mandalorian armor. So maybe this Mandalorian armor won't be dented. It just depends on what type of bolter shot that she's firing. But anyway, she's really good in hand-to-hand combat. Pulls out some kicks and punches, and is like totally outclasses Toro. But it was a good enough distraction for Mando to get back up on his feet and take her hostage. And that's basically how the episode goes. Now, where the twist comes in is they only have one vehicle. They need a transporter, so they remember that guy's mount is still out there. Dewback.
The
Thank you.
Dewback. Yep.
And Mando's like, all right, I'll go get it. You stay here with. Bad decision, because the guy's already shown his incompetence, right? It's like Mando's being too soft, making too many allowances, you know what I mean? Some bad decision making. But anyway, he kind of conspires with her. She's like, look, I don't think you realize who that is. I could pay you double if you let me go. And hell, if all you really want to do is get in the guild, turn that guy in. He has this. I heard he fought an entire guild. He went rogue. He's got this rogue Yoda, which is sitting on top of Dell's head right now, falling off.
I am Yoda.
Oh,
all right.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Little baby Yoda.
This is my low-cost cosplay going on.
And so he walks up to her, and you think, his attitude. That's why I thought that maybe he was playing at it the whole time, because his attitude changes from, I'm the good-lucky dumbass to shoots her and is staring her down. I'm like, oh, he's been deceiving everybody. But no, you think
he's just
he heard her idea and he's like, all
I'm
right,
gonna steal that.
That sounds
But
good.
he was
but I'm going to destroy my own bounty.
Yeah, I'm not going to turn you in
done
first.
both.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll stick with my explanation. What do y'all think? Anyways, so they go back, and the Mandalorian realizes what he's done. He's like, crap, so he has to go back, and he sees the swoop there. He's like, this guy is after me, and he's got held hostage the mechanic lady, and he's got poor old baby Yoda in his arms, and he's threatening him. And I was like, you son of a bitch, you do not point, weapons or threaten baby Yoda's life. Thankfully, Mandalorian shoots him fucking dead.
Yeah, he lights off he puts his hands behind his head, he throws up a flare, flashbangs him, and then shoots him.
I was hoping that this character, wasn't going to be a thing.
Yeah,
and
me too.
I didn't want them to be at the end, my Beskar saved me, or something, my gold saved me. No. I don't want to see him back, okay?
You're dead.
Yeah.
You did a story of this wannabe bounty hunter that betrayed Mando, and he was shitty, and he's sucky, and he's dead, and I'm like, okay, in that instance, fine.
I was hoping that they would have killed him off when they were on the dunes.
Yeah.
Paid homage to all the World War movies and stuff, where he just pops his head up right between the eyes immediately. That would have been.
I want to throw that MF in a Sarlacc pit is what I want. Anyway, so he's good and dead, and then it seems like maybe this mechanic has given the Mandalorian some perspective on how to take care of a child
or
better.
just yelled at him for abandoning a baby
Or
in a hangar. It's
Right.
like, yo, idiot, don't leave the baby somewhere.
Right. And that's basically the moral of this episode, this side quest.
Yeah.
Don't leave your children in your car.
How it ties it.
we're
Don't
on the
leave
way-
your
yeah.
children.
That's the whole point.
I like that. I like that. But right at the end, we get kind of a cutaway, after credits scene, which we don't see very often in The Mandalorian. And it was that assassin chick who, was a good fighter and who was shot point blank range.
She did.
She did.
Well,
did.
Mandalorian walks over there. And, he's got his. I'm pretty sure it's the Mandalorian because it's got the spurs on his boots.
Or it could just be someone else that
was
has
probably
that
the-
jingles, has too many keys in the
I
pocket.
think it's the Mandalorian, and maybe this just wasn't directed well, or it didn't come across. Maybe it was the Mandalorian is, not only did I save Baby Yoda's life, but I'm also going to turn in this dead bounty for some money.
I thought it was the guy that's
Or-
chasing him is the bounty commission dude from the first episode. The guy that gives him all the pucks, because he had spurs on his boots too.
Did he?
And he didn't die.
You're
He
thinking
ran
that's
away.
him
I
and
think it's
following
him
him.
chasing him.
That
Yeah.
it's
Carl
implied
Weathers.
that somebody's following him.
Yeah.
But you see how it wasn't quite
Yeah.
clear
No.
enough on what's going on. We needed to see a little bit more there. So I was a little confused by that scene. So
Yeah.
that's our impressions, our discussion of the episode. Let's go ahead and go into final verdicts. Who wants to start? I'm going to force.
Yoda will.
Okay.
I agree with what you said initially. I think it was the weakest episode. And by the way, I've watched all of them, and I like the series
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot.
yeah. So
Just to
let's start
recap.
with, what do you think of the series so far? Do you have Disney Plus?
Yes, I
was
bought
gonna
it.
give you my
I
password.
know. Well, that would be a violation.
Oh, no.
And we would
No,
never.
up to 4 devices, sir. We are family.
But no, I bought it because I wanted to watch it.
Joe, Alex, me, you, we're family.
Yeah, we are family.
Okay.
It's true. It's about family.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what the show's about.
But so I've really liked it. I really love. I think the strongest part of it for me was the cinematography. The entire way through, I watched that first episode and I was like,
Yeah.
"This is directed fantastically." But I do agree with you. It was the weakest episode, and I also agree with the fact that he became very not timid, but toned back because in the
who directed it?
Dave Filoni did this one.
Really?
Dave
Okay.
was it Dave Filoni?
Yeah, he wrote and directed this one.
Okay.
Yeah, so In the first episode, he cuts a dude in half with a door, and now we're down to like he's like super trusting everybody, not being aggressive, not defending his own interests. And I'm worried that they're going in this direction, and I hope this was like a one-time thing.
Me too.
Because what got me really captivated was the fact that you had the nitty-gritty, dark underbelly of Star Wars.
Unpredictable.
Yeah, and it's I'm hoping they go back to that tone, and then the Baby Yoda's kind of like the relief of that, where he's like the shining light,
it brings
and all
him back.
the grittiness, and every time he like goes into that old way, you just like, oh, okay, the kid reminds him or something.
Right.
But yeah, it's been a fantastic series, and I think this was the weakest episode, and I think they need to pull back from like the side quest.
So what would you give this particular one then?
Well, the others were all like 9s
for
me. And so this is, I think, honestly, it was so much of a disconnect from what the other episodes was. I'm at like a 7 for the episode because nothing really happened. I mean, there was no forward plot progression. It was just lateral.
Right.
The
No,
entire
I agree.
episode.
Yeah.
And so I think it was a solid 7, and it wasn't because of the Mandalorian or anything like that. It was
7. I was expecting you to say something like 6.
No,
okay.
it was a 7. The side characters, the supporting cast, just didn't do it. Other than the woman in the hangar who
mechanic lady.
the mechanic,
She was a little awkward, but she's supposed to be awkward.
She's awkward,
she's an
like,
outer rim mechanic. Barely sees
friends
people.
with droids. Yeah.
Friends with droids. Playing card games with them.
Yep.
All right. So 7 out of 10. What do you think, Alex?
I think that this. I'm not worried about the show because I think I trust they've shown me that in the previous 4 episodes that this is going in a direction that I like. This one just felt like everything kind of bothered me. The length really bothered me on this because you abbreviated all the things that make a story like this work, like character attachment, getting to know the two. You develop trust between the two characters, and then the betrayal means more. The setup and takedown of the bad guys is a little bit more arduous, and so the victory means more. And instead, they tell you, he's like, oh, I'm new to the guild, and so you got to help me. And he's like, okay, and that's it. That's the level. That's the level of like storytelling that we got because this is too damn short. And it's not bad TV. It's still enjoyable, but this was like filler. Yeah. And I'm trying to compare this to like an average episode of any other TV show, and it's definitely better because they've got a higher budget, they've got better writers. But this is like a huge disappointment in comparison. Like I liked the last episode, I liked the previous ones a lot, and this doesn't come close to them. So I would feel bad, like based on for my consistency of the way that I've rated the other episodes, I couldn't give this a 7 based on what I gave the other ones. Because I think it's still good. It's still above average at a 6, which is what I'm going to give it. But I can't.
I'm happy you did it because one of us needs to do it.
Yeah.
Give the show a little bit of tough love. When you really love something, you give it tough love. And it was too short to develop, which is becoming a problem in the series.
Yeah.
To develop this type of story, a little tropey, a little weak acting, a little miscast. And filler and a side
Yeah, it was
plot.
like a 0.5 because some series have like an episode 4.5 and then you go to episode 5.
Exactly.
It was like a 0.5. It was like a middle.
But when the Mandalorian has 8 episodes, what are you doing?
30-minute episode.
Maybe Dave Filoni, when you have 24 episodes in a Clone Wars season, you can do something like this and it'd be fine. But what? Come on, we gotta get to the main plot line. We gotta see all the cool stuff. I did like the imagery of the stormtrooper helmets, all fucking heads on pikes. It's like Empire's gone. You ain't coming over here to Mos Eisley. They're not friendly to you. But I agree with both of these guys. But I am obviously a huge Star Wars fan, and I would give it a 6, but I think what brings it up to the 7 are the visuals, the cinematography, all the, sort of paying respect to the Star Wars lore and letting us sort of live in this universe. This was a day on the job of a bounty hunter, and there's plenty of betrayal, and this was trying to depict the fact that it's a dangerous job. Everywhere you go, it's dangerous, but we've been seeing that already the whole time. You put Baby Yoda in danger again, but we've seen that, before with people who are more competent than this guy and who are more interesting than this guy. And so, Toro, he's dead. Hooray.
That's the best part of the episode.
Best part of the episode is
Yep.
when Mando shoots him dead. We're all talking about how Mando's getting soft. He did just murder a dude on Disney Plus.
But he didn't cut him.
Well-
He didn't cut him in half with a door.
Yeah, and he also you don't see any blood. There's no
I know.
and he only did it in self-defense.
But I do agree with Del here that Mando is getting kind of soft,
Really
a little too
quickly,
fast.
yeah.
I don't mind him getting soft because I want him to be a good guy. I want him to have that heart of gold, but I want to see that rust come off of that heart a little faster, or a little less fast.
You can be a rampant psychopath murderer for the good reasons.
Yeah.
You can be a good psycho.
Thank
That's
you
fine. Yeah.
Good advice from Baby Yoda. All right,
I mean,
guys?
you ever see Dexter?
Yes.
There you go. I mean,
Well, thank you guys so much. I want to thank our sponsors here at the end of the episode, Stardust app. If you guys download the app, it's for free, and follow us at AngryJoeShow. Do a video reaction to one of our video reactions. You will be automatically entered for a chance to visit Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which, by the way...
people.
Two
Two
people,
people.
all
Fully-
expenses paid
Dang.
trip. It is freaking sweet. They just opened that Rise of the Resistance ride,
Yeah,
which
I remember,
apparently there's no line to. There's like queuing. You know how in movie
That's pretty
theaters
cool.
now you do seats. You
You
choose
get, like,
your
the buzzer
seats.
and you're like,
now,
yeah, okay,
now there's
cool.
that, and I'm like, wow,
That's
parks are getting pretty sweet.
That's cool.
I'm going to I would have to check this out, but you get to check it out. All expenses paid from Stardust. So download the app. There's no reason not to. Your chances to win are high, and it supports the show. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's talk. So we have what episode was this? This was 5
of 8, which
Oh,
is terrifying.
man.
Yeah.
Which means that I honestly think that the first episodes were a little arc. So arc 1. This is the filler episode. Please tell me that these next 3 episodes are dedicated to the climax.
Well, I think there's evidence
because
to
if there's
support
another
that.
filler episode like this, then we're getting into danger area.
There's some things they did the first time in this episode, which hopefully means that they're going to get into something that matters, right? We got that scene at the end
Right.
where we have someone that it could be that someone's following the Mandalorian, or the Mandalorian is going back,
Yep.
and so that
Maybe
could be the
it's-
start of something else.
Yeah.
And if it is someone who's hunting down the Mandalorian, or just it sees the assassin dead, maybe that person's going to go for retribution against the Mandalorian, and we'll have
Right.
like another arc that'll finish the season out.
Maybe it's that guy that we've seen in the trailers who leads the Death Squad, or you know that
Yeah.
elite squad of. But they need to. It needs to happen.
Fast.
Next episode. Do not screw
Well,
around
if
here.
we go in the same direction we've gone, the next episode will be 22 minutes long, and then
Please
the
don't.
finale will be
They-
just like
yeah,
a still
they-
shot.
You gotta
42
understand, there's
minutes.
probably less than an hour and a half left of the entire series.
no.
That's rough. That's
Yeah.
definitely rough, and I hope
Shut
they
up,
change
Del.
that for season
is.
2.
It's
You're
like-
right, but I hate
It's
I
an
hate
hour
hearing
and a
it
half
out loud.
left,
Yeah.
and it's how are they going to do all that in an
And
hour
they've
and a half?
actually, I think they started filming and doing season 2 before the positive reception and before any of the feedback of these episodes are way too short from critics. So we're probably going to get the same kind of length. I hope they can correct that, because it's such a great show, and we want to see more of it, and that's a good problem to have.
It is.
And this is what, episode 5. So we've got 6, 7. How is this going to match up with the Rise of Skywalker? So
We only have
Rise of
one more
Skywalker
episode.
is December 20th.
Yeah.
So, and today is what?
The 6th,
December.
I think the 6th.
Right. And so then, just one more episode, and then we'll get the movie. I don't think they'll tie in. I do think that there's a little hint of something
Maybe
dropped.
like Easter eggs or
A
something.
little
in there.
Easter egg to tie everything in, because so far this series has been tying in Rebels, Clone Wars, has been referencing a lot of different stuff. And J.J. Abrams has promised that this final film in the trilogy will reference a lot of the material from all of the Star Wars canon. And I hope they manage to find time to include Mandalorian in
I
it.
don't know, like, time-wise, they even said, like, when they were in the cantina in this episode, they were talking about the New Republic, like, it's still a thing, it's still a
Right.
government.
And I just mean tiny little things. I
Yeah.
don't want to, I don't want the
I think it's like
Mandalorian to show
before.
up or something
Yeah.
like that, 80 years old and doing something.
I'm
No.
here
Yoda's
to
taking care of
fight.
him this time.
Maybe just the Mandalorian's ship in the background in the crowd, or some kind of reference to
Someone's got
Jedi
his gun.
powers. as I said on the previous episode, maybe a hint to the, Jedi healing or something like that.
They just leave a Baby Yoda plush somewhere.
Yeah.
Just on camera. Yeah.
All right, guys. We're really enjoying and loving Mandalorian, but when you love something, you got to give it some tough love sometimes, and this is it's that time. But we cannot wait for the final arc to kick in and see the conclusion of these things. We'll see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.